YouTube, what's going on, man? It's your boy Father Dark, and today has been a big day. Just like I said in my last video, I knew that today they were probably going to go ahead and release the gameplay reveal trailers and stuff like that. Tim the Tapman and another streamer, I forgot his name, but they're going to be doing, I guess, separate reveals. I don't know if they're doing like on their stream, if they're doing both Human Torch and the Thing, or if one's just doing one and then the other's doing the other, respectively. But still, nonetheless, though, we've learned a lot though about both of the characters, and in this video, I'm just going to be talking about, the Human Torch and the Storm team up that I think is going to be the new season meta, or the mid-season meta once that update comes out on Friday, which is February the 21st, I believe. Nonetheless, though, let's go ahead and get into it. So the reason that I'm saying this is simply because Storm has, well, just recently, in the last video that I posted on my page, you'll see that I went over all of the buffs and nerfs that they were doing for all of the characters. And I think in total there was like 19 different characters that got nerfs and buffs. Some of them were just nerfs, some of them were buffs, and then some were everything in between, kind of like Storm that I'll get to in just a second. But it seems like they're really listening, and they're doing a really good job of trying to, listen to, player feedback and stuff like that, and actually, give it where it's needed in regards to the nerfs and the buffs and stuff like that. So like I was saying about Storm, she actually, she got a nerf and a buff. So let's go ahead and look at that. So it says reduce long range threat, decrease self buff from aura while increasing team buff. Wind blade damage fall off at 30 meters, improve from 70% to 60%. Thunderstorm self damage buff reduced from 16 to 12%. Ally buff increased from 8% to 10%. Enhanced thunderstorm self damage buff reduced from 30% down to 25%. Now, like I said, there's some nerfs and some buffs in there, but the thing is that we're talking about very minor stuff here. Overall, Storm is still going to be definitely a problem, to the point to where, I'm usually a healer in ranked, but as of today, I got absolutely tired of it. Every single game seems like it's just being absolutely dominated by Storms. People seem to just really still have an issue with paying attention to flyers and adapting. And even when you have people, you can still tell your team to just focus, like if it's a Punisher or a Hawkeye or something like that, to focus them. And, you're just really a distraction if you know how to play as a flyer. You don't just leave yourself completely exposed. So even myself, I'm probably going to become a Storm main or a Human Torch once he comes out, but one or the other, just because, healing is just not cutting it for people that just seem to be completely oblivious to the fact that Storms and Iron Man and, pretty much any flyer in the game exist. But like I was saying, though, when you look at the Human Torch, he actually has a team up ability, which a lot of us know about. And if you don't know about, basically when she does her hurricane or tornado, whichever one they refer to it as in game, he's actually going to be able to turn that into a fire tornado. And basically it says that any tornadoes or hurricanes that he's created himself, it'll be able to also, basically buff those. So, you basically have Storm on steroids, and then you're teaming that up with, the Human Torch, which seems like he has absolutely zero problem with, the movement and speed ability. And then you couple that with the fact that she buffs people and can give them speed or damage increase, depending upon which one you choose. So I really think that once we put those two together, they're really going to be a problem. But let's go ahead and talk about Johnny Storm's abilities here. So his primary is going to be Fire Cluster, which is going to launch forward a spittable fireball. Let's see here. His left shift is going to be Plasma Body, which you hold that to enter an accelerated ascent. His E is going to be Pyro Prison, which connect flame fields to form a firewall that deals burning damage to enemies. And after that, we have his F, which is going to be Flaming Meteor, dive towards the ground and stun nearby enemies. And then his right click on the mouse is going to be Blazing Blast, which is going to be launch a fireball to create a flame field at the targeted area. And his ultimate is going to be what's called Supernova, which unleashes shockwaves to deal damage to enemies within range during skill activation. The flame field will transform into a fire tornado. Now, I've already uploaded a short that has the gameplay trailer for the Human Torch, so I'm not going to put that in the video. But in the video, it looked like, I don't know if they sped that up when he did his ultimate, but it looked like it was almost like Storm's ult, but also on steroids. It just seems like whatever the weaker parts were of Storm, that they really just gave it all to the Human Torch. So we're about to enter like the season of the flyer meta, even though it was already kind of like the meta. Plus, I believe that Iron Man got a buff as well. So, like, just imagine 3 flyers on your team. But fortunately, though, I think that Hawkeye got a buff as well. I think that they buffed his. I could be wrong, but I think that they had buffed his like main health, and there was a couple other things that got buffed with him. I think they nerfed like his explosive arrows as far as like the initial damage, but the range got buffed or something. And these are all things that I covered in my previous videos. So, and I'm just kind of going off the top of my head here with all of that because I have a couple other things I need to do. So I just wanted to go ahead and get this video out for the people that were curious. But like I said, though, you know, I can already see it now, like immediately everybody rushing to do the team ups with the Torch and Storm. God forbid they throw an Iron Man in there. And, you know, everyone else, just your job will just be to focus the people that are the anti-flyers, you know, like your Punishers, your Hawkeyes, etc. Maybe even, I believe, Black Widow, because she got a buff, but one of the main things I noticed were that her buff was primarily for her magazine. I believe before she only had 8 shots, and now she's going to have like 15 or something like that. So, you know, definitely probably want to watch out for those widows if you are a flyer, or if you're going to be a flyer, plan on doing that. So, but yeah, though, let me know in the comments, though, like what you guys think. Are you actually like interested for Johnny Storm? Are you dreading the fact that this is probably going to be the new meta? If you have seen the buffs and nerfs videos, or anybody talking about it, or if you just read them yourself online, what are you guys' thoughts? You know, I'd love to hear about it in the comment section. Me personally, though, until the Human Torch comes out, I'm probably just going to be maining Storm, because she's just being, you know, abused, you know, in ranked right now. Like I said, every ranked match that I've played in the last couple of days has been nothing but some Storm who's just been completely uncontested whatsoever, just up in the sky in the back, you know, just, you know, getting her ultimate like it seems like 30 to 40 seconds, which is ridiculous. Every game she's MVP. You know, it's getting ridiculous. So I thought, you know, like they said in Dark Knight, you either, you know, die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I'm definitely about to become the villain. No more healing for me. No more Cloak and Dagger, especially with the fact that Cloak and Dagger is about to get nerfed out. Hopefully we're going to start seeing more people, you know, kind of mixing it up. And I think Adam Warlock actually is getting a buff, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully more people will start, you know, going for different healers, and we're not going to have to worry about the triple stack healing meta that we've been dealing with, which is another thing that, you know, I think that they actually were like listening to, which really there's no reason not to. You know, I'm kind of like, I appreciate when devs listen, but I also kind of feel like that's kind of like their job is to, you know, listen to us as players who are actively playing their game every day, especially when there's something that's been as big of a gripe for as long as it has been now with the triple, you know, healer meta that's been going on. And that's what keeps games fresh and causes people to adapt, because like, to me, that's where the real skill is, right? It's one thing to be a one trick, but it's another thing when you actually take the time, like myself, to learn multiple different characters. And, you know, even if it's not something that you so much actually play those characters, but as much as learning, you know, what their weaknesses are. Anytime that I struggle against someone, like I used to struggle a lot against Spider-Man. So then I just spent like the whole entire weekend doing nothing but playing as Spider-Man. So now I understand Spider-Mans. I understand what the cooldowns are. I understand what they struggle against, what they don't, how they think, you know, and that's, you know, that's the art of war, is like to know your enemy better than you know yourself, right? Like to really understand them and get inside their heads. But then also you have the added advantage of, if you're dealing with someone in that particular character is their weakness, then you understand how to jump on that character and play as them. But you know, it also just kind of like, you know, it's kind of like in COD, right? Like when they release a new game, I initially go ahead and level up every single loadout in the game, go ahead and get my mastery camo. So that way, when they change the meta up regularly, which they haven't been doing as much, which is why I stopped playing the game. But, you know, back when they did change the meta up every week, it was nice, you know, and then you had a lot of, you know, people like friends and stuff that I played the game with that they would get irritated because they're like, oh, well, now I got to go spend however many hours, you know, leveling this up and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, bro, I did that when the game first came out, you know? So, and I think it's kind of like the same thing with this game, right? It's like currently we have 35 characters. Pretty soon we'll have 37. So, you know, there are a lot of characters in the game, but there are so many that, you know, you can kind of focus on at a time and say, okay, well, these are the ones that I see the most. These are the problems that I deal with the most, and really focus and work on those. So, like I said, though, we don't know for sure if this is going to be the new meta. There were, like I said, 19 different characters that got nerfs and buffs and stuff like that. And then there were some that were left untouched. So it's definitely going to like shake things up a lot and see. But just me personally, I feel like I'm pretty good at predicting these things. I just feel like that's going to be people's go-tos because it's just going to be very irritating. And I feel like the mass majority of people that play this game have a very kind of like tunnel vision type of mindset. And they, the last couple of games that I just played as Storm, people just refused to pay me any attention. Like every once in a blue moon, somebody would look up and take a shot at me. I would just kind of go behind a pillar or something and pop back out, and they were back to not paying me any attention again. And it's the same thing with like Onks and stuff like that from Moon Knight. They get thrown and you'll sit there and just watch your team not pay them any attention whatsoever and then be like, whoa, I can't believe I got deleted so fast. It's like, bro, you gotta be aware of your surroundings, man. Like just look around sometimes. It's not that deep, man. But if you're just focused on one thing, that you're gonna get one thing, focused results. So is what it is. But like I said, let me know in the comments though what you guys think about the patch notes, the buffs, the nerfs, what you think about the thing, the Human Torch, if you're excited, all that good jazz. But this is Dark, and I'm out. Appreciate you guys.